Hello, hello, what's up, what's happening, how you doing? Welcome. I am Spade Parkland, and this is the Parkland Media YouTube channel. Thank you for clicking on the video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you're having a good day, good afternoon, or good evening whenever you watch this broadcast. And thanks for watching the commercials in the entirety, the entire commercial without skipping. That really helps out here. And thank you also for being a YouTube Premium member, if you are one. And thank you to all the channel members. I appreciate it. Thank you. The Kimono Woman told Martin about Abby and Julie theory. I'm going to break all that down. There's actually enough information in the actual show to verify or validate that that's actually a legitimate thing. This broadcast was inspired by a comment that turned into me doing some digging, and then I came with this whole theory that we're about to get into. So this theory is inspired by the comment section of Julie planted the vegetables at the settlement theory, plus story walking explained. Conclava 4 months ago asked, Julie tells Ethan that she's a story walker and can't change outcomes in the past. Well, no, Ethan said once something is written, it can't be undone, because Julie wanted to go back to the past and change some stuff. By this logic, it's not that she can't change the past, it's that once something is written, which I interpret that as in once the writers write something as far as the script and it airs on television, they're not changing anything. So if there is going to be story walking or time travel, it's going to be something where it's a Deus Ex Machina situation where you're going to see the effect and then the cause later being story walking. More about that later on in the video. But we also see her throw the rope to Boyd. As a viewer of the show, what am I supposed to believe or follow? By the way, great theory is always. And I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for the compliment. So other people commented. Winter Trooper says it's simple. She can't change the past, meaning she was always meant to throw rope to Boyd. Cozy Mother says she always threw the rope. Hope that helps. Boyd originally went down there, got stuck, and there was a different outcome. Julie story walking in order to help out Boyd was kind of like a happy accident. But there are no wrong comments, and what they're saying is not wrong. We haven't heard anyone say that she was not always meant to throw the rope and that she always threw the rope. No one's debunked that, so those things could be true. My comment that I made was Julie threw the rope season 2, episode 1. When we see Boyd get the rope, Julie was there in season 2, episode 1 to help Boyd get out of the mine shaft. She was there. It's just that we didn't see things from her point of view until season 3. That's the effect that I was talking about. The effect was we saw him get the rope. We saw the cause later on. So everything in life is cause and effect when it comes to causality, which is the basis of pretty much time. Everything as far as time's a man and woman made construct, but everything is causality, cause and effect. You saw my video or got a notification, that's the cause. The effect is you clicking on it and watching the video, cause and effect. So the way that they're doing the show with story walking, which is like Deus Ex Machina, something just to save the day, is that they're basically saying that you're watching this video, the effect, and then we're going to later on see you click on it. It's all happening at one time. We're just seeing things from different points of view. And it's just the idea of story walking is what is kind of confusing people and making it seem like it's time travel. At the end of every season, the creators of From, they want their series to be renewed. So in order to do that, they have like this big thing at the end, episode 10, and then they figure out later on how they're going to make that thing a thing. So I don't think they initially were going to do the whole story walking thing. I think that At the end of season 1, they wanted Epix at the time to renew Fromville for a season 2. So they put Boyd at the bottom of the well as a cliffhanger for people to kind of talk about it and give it a buzz. Once you see who threw Boyd the rope, it's like, oh, well, now you can time travel all willy-nilly. What are we doing? No. It's that the writers and the creators and maybe even the director, they wrote themselves into a corner on purpose to give you the shock value, to make you want to have the buzz about season 2. And also with season 3, seeing Tabitha pushed out the lighthouse is like, oh my God, she's in the real world. And then she doesn't really do much out there except for go get Henry and come back into Fromville. So they do this cliffhanger thing to make you want the next season, which will encourage the studio to pick up future seasons of the series. Like they did with season 3. Boyd is down there with the creatures, seeing Smiley being reborn. What's going to happen now? Is Boyd going to be captured? Is he going to go back upstairs? What's going to happen? And then we see that Jade and Tabitha, their eyes have been opened. They remember who they come from. Reincarnations is kind of like that cliffhanger to make you want season 4. It worked, in my opinion, because it got renewed. Had they have wrapped up all mysteries in season 3 and not had any cliffhangers, there may not have been a season 4. Every television series does this. It's not a From thing specific, but it's just that in order to get the buzz that's needed for another season to be purchased by a streaming company, they had that cliffhanger, and Boyd being thrown the rope by Julie was just how to get him out of there. And I don't think they really necessarily intended every little thing that we've seen. They even told E-Man News on YouTube that they leave little breadcrumbs, they put Easter eggs in, and sometimes they don't really get around to how they're going to give the big reveal of a mystery or how they're going to solve every problem. And one way that they got themselves out of a corner is with a Deus Ex Machina, and that Boyd got the rope to get out from Julie, and somehow they never talked about it, even in the season 3. Julie basically was there season 2. It's just that we didn't see things from her point of view until season 3. I don't think that Boyd necessarily went to the ruins in the past. I think that Boyd and Julie met Martin in the future. All right, so we're going to take a break, and we're going to give a shout out to the sponsor for today's video. Has her own theme music. Amanda Kenny 4997 gave a super thanks on Victor Has an Invisibility Ability channel member video. I appreciate it. Thank you for the super thanks, and thank you for being a channel member. You are awesome. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you want to support the platform and donate, you can donate through Super Thanks. You can also donate through Cash App. That's $ Spade Parkland. You can also watch the commercials, the entire commercial, all of them, without skipping. Be a YouTube Premium member. If you don't want to do one of those 4 choices, no pressure, no judgment. We don't judge here. You can also thumb up the video, share to your social media, including your YouTube community tab, and comment in the comment section. Commenting in the comment section, doing a thumb up, sharing the video, all of that is a part of the engagement for each video, which helps out not just the video as far as analytics, but it also helps out the entire channel. So participating beyond just watching the video and doing one of those things helps us out here. Thank you, thank you, thank you for everyone who supports, including the channel members, including Amanda Kenny, who has sponsored today's video. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. In response to Conclava, I commented, Julie threw the rope to Boyd, season 2, episode 1. They just showed us her point of view, season 3. So if something is done during an episode and we don't know who, then the who could be a story walker. Julie's story walking is really only a benefit if she goes to a future episode and gains information for the current episode, or she does something. So in this theory, Julie and Boyd met Martin in the future, not the past, not the present, but the future. The best way to kind of look at it is just understand that time is not linear like we know it in the real world. It's linear to us because we created things like clocks, calendars, time zones. We created that so that we understand time in like a linear format. It helps you to get to places by a certain time, get to a job by a certain time. I think that the human construct of time was formulated and constructed in order to get people to work. Also to make sense as to why the sun's out at one moment, then there's no more sun, then you got the moon. Boyd is in the well right here on the left. That is season 2, episode 1. This is Julie on the right, season 3, episode, I think it's like 6 or 7, which is Thresholds. This is 3 over here, and this is episode 2. Now, even though to us, they're 2 separate episodes, this scene is just Julie's point of view, and this is Boyd's point of view, and they're both happening at the same time. Julie's able to do it because she's story walking, and I think Boyd is also story walking. Story walking is not something necessarily that is an ability. I view it as the layer is more like a nexus area in the center of dimensions and timelines where it's just like in the middle. Boyd, in this theory, went into the mine shaft after the boy in white told Sarah to go into the faraway tree. He went to the future. Julie walked into the ruins, into the middle of it, and she separated from her body, story walked to the future, the same future that Boyd went to with Martin. When Boyd went to the middle of the ruins, nothing happened. But then when he went and grabbed the torch that he had after he left the lair, after he freed Martin and got the worms, when he went back to the ruins with that same torch, which I think that torch, in my opinion, is an object or an item that can grant access to areas unattainable without them. So if you want like a kind of a pop culture reference, think about The Legend of Zelda and the recorder, also known as the whistle. The whistle reveals the entrance to level 7, the demon. You play the little recorder, also known as a whistle. It opens up the entrance, and now you gain access to an area that's unattainable without that object. So Boyd had the torch, and the torch is just one of those objects or items that can help him gain access to an unattainable area, the lair inside the ruins. I think if someone were to go into the faraway tree and go to the motel, it'd be the same way. Maybe you go to the motel, you take something from the motel, you leave, you can get back into the motel with the same object. So using the lighter and lighting the torch allow Boyd to gain access to the lair. So while inside the lair, when he walks in, the music box is right there playing. The layout is different than when he first arrived and Martin was there.
You made it.
First thing we notice is, look at the wall. Look at how those chains are. Those chains are for someone to be chained up where both your arms are constrained on a ring-shaped chain. That's behind Boyd when he gets up. Here's Martin on the wall.
We don't have much time. I need you to kill me. Kill me. Jesus.
All right, so looking at Martin on the wall, Martin is chained separate. Both of his arms are chained directly into the walls.
We had a deal. You said you would kill.
Boyd just got through looking over here on the right part of the dungeon. He's clearing the room right now. He's looking away from Martin, or we could say across from Martin. So this chain guy right here, different kind of chain, but he's across from Martin. He's chained to a ring, and he's up against the wall. This is across from Martin, or straight ahead.
Who did this to you? Are you from the town?
Okay, so now Boyd just turned to his left, meaning right now he's looking at a body that is to the right of Martin. This person's chained like the previous skeleton that we saw, where 2 hands are tied up to a chain confined to the wall.
What the hell?
You see how he's looking towards his left? He's looking towards his left at Martin right now while talking to him. The skeleton that is to the right of Martin. And the reason why this is important is because when going through this video, you're going to say, oh, well, that skeleton or those skeletons were on the opposite wall of Martin. No, there's skeletons all throughout the lair. Martin is the only person who's still alive. So I'm thinking that maybe all of them were given worms. Martin was the only one to survive this long.
Yeah. I always thought the town was the worst part. And then I went through.
So now you see the skeleton who's behind Boyd. This is the first skeleton that he saw. He's looking back at it.
Through the tree. Did you go through the tree?
You see how Martin is looking, kind of like going towards his right. So Boyd is right here looking at Martin. Martin's looking at him, just trying to give you a layout of the room.
Yeah. The tree. You go one place, come out another. Sometimes you get stuck. Sometimes you get trapped. That's when they get you.
By this dialogue, it's reasonable to believe that Martin went through the tree and he became trapped. He says they trapped him. Boyd's looking outside.
You have a kind face.
He's clearing the room looking for anybody else who's there, because Boyd's first mind is that Martin is a prisoner and that bad people or the enemy or monsters imprisoned him there. He's not thinking in terms of maybe Martin is a bad guy who's been tied up.
What's your name? Boyd.
I believe that Martin was told about people in town and has never seen them for himself. And I think the person that told Martin about the people in town was the Kimono Woman. The Kimono Woman addresses Elgin by name. And I'll show you that in a minute. When she first meets Elgin, she addresses him by name. She's walking around Colony House. No one can see her but Elgin, because she allowed Elgin to see her. And I think that Fatima was able to see the Kimono Woman because of lucky handkerchief given by Ellis. The blessed item, aka the lucky handkerchief, allowed Fatima to be able to see the Kimono Woman and see past her invisibility ability or astral projection ability, whatever you want to say. I think it's more of invisibility, because she actually physically touches Elgin, like she jerks him to get his attention, and then she talks to him and calls him by name. I'll show you that in a moment. Because when it comes to astral projection, you're projecting yourself out, and it's kind of like debatable. Can you actually interact with the environment? Some people say you can, some people say you can't. We don't know as far as in From if that's a thing or not, but I'm going to say that she was invisible, and that's how she was able to physically touch Elgin. And again, we'll see that in a moment. So right now, Boyd is clearing the room. The room is cleared, and guess what? He puts up his firearm. It's right there on his person. Oh, and so I believe the Kimono Woman told Martin about people in town and told him about what happened in the past, kind of like storytelling to him, doing an exposition dump, like villains, when they tell their villain story, how we got here, they'll name a bunch of stuff. I think the Kimono Woman is the one, unless we find out season 4 or 5 is somebody different or something different. The Kimono Woman, with her invisibility ability, was spying on everyone. That's how she's getting everyone's names, going back and telling the creatures everyone's names, and even telling Martin people's names. And now, as far as how they put a face with a name, I think the Kimono Woman has the ability to touch someone and maybe show things to them by touching them. in town, there's only one teen who's Julie. And I think that's how Martin knew Julie by name when Julie story walked, because she's the only female teen in town. So when he sees a female teen, he's like, Julie? Because the way Martin said Julie, it was like he was kind of like surprised to see her, but didn't really know that it was really her. It was more like Julie with a question mark. It seemed like he was saying Julie's name like with a question mark, as in saying, Julie, as in, are you Julie? And then Julie's like, well, how do you know my name? Well, you're the only female teen in town who probably has been there for years. So it would be reasonable to believe that you got to be Julie if I'm hearing about a female teen. And then as far as Abby, I think the Kimono Woman was also there seeing Abby and telling Martin that Abby's a Marine like you. She has a husband named Boyd. And once Martin hears that this is Boyd, that's when he says the statement about maybe Abby was right, it all being a dream, because the Kimono Woman's telling him about what Abby had said out loud, and the Kimono Woman probably heard that. And then as far as, again with Julie, I mean, the Kimono Woman probably told Martin about Julie story walking and just tales of the past. Because I believe that Martin right now is in the future.
I'm Martin.
How long you been here, Martin?
Oh, it's been a while.
I'm sorry.
I used to try to count the days, but I couldn't bear to count the years.
So I don't believe this is Ethan growing up, because when you go into Fromville, if you leave like Tabitha did, Fromville's bringing you back. So I don't think this is Ethan leaving Fromville, joining the Marines, then getting brought back. I think this is an entirely different character than everyone we've seen on the show.
Leave no man behind.
One thing I want to kind of point out, it's a stretch, it's a yoga stretch. Look at the Kimono Woman's hands, look at Martin's hands. They kind of have the same hands. Like, it's one thing for your fingernails not to be cut and they grow really long. It's another for the fingernails to get long, like they could be used as weapons. The Kimono Woman seems to be really, really old. I could picture the Kimono Woman going to visit Martin, telling him stories of people in the past, even being mean and aggressive with him because he won't do what she wants him to do. Kind of like with Elgin. Like, imagine if Elgin turned the Kimono Woman down, she probably would have imprisoned Elgin as well in the lair and been tormenting and torturing him.
Please. You see this?
Boyd shows him the talisman stone.
I found these in the forest. They protect us, keep us safe. They won't be able to hurt you there.
You think those things that come out of the forest at night did this? They're just the tip of the spear.
All right, Boyd didn't mention the creatures. He just said they. So Martin was talking about they. That's how they get you. Boyd showed Martin the talisman stone and says, you think those things that come out at night did this? So Martin, in my opinion, he already knows about the talisman stone. He already knows about it. That's why when Boyd brought it out, Martin didn't ask any questions. Martin already knows about it because Martin is trapped in the future. And I think they probably put the talisman stone in the grotto cave or back in the grotto cave so that the grotto cave would be protected by the stones. And they more than likely ventured further out into the forest because staying in the town was, in my opinion, in this theory, it was a losing situation. Staying in town, you're spinning your wheels because it's a scarcity of food. The creatures are constantly coming. They're getting more cunning. People are going to be opening windows and opening up doors like Kevin did with Jasmine. The only solution is to leave, and the leaving more than likely had to be going out into the forest and probably going through a tree in the future. And that's how Martin became imprisoned, by going through a tree in the future timeline of Fromville.
Hey, how about we change the subject, huh? Hey, Martin, where you from?
Boyd, right now, he's going to break Martin's right chain. And he does it successfully.
Town, Millbrook.
What? Millbrook, huh?
Wasting time.
Wasting time.
They're coming.
So they're coming. So it's not the music box that is making Martin afraid. It's the music box, which is a cursed object, in my opinion. And I think the music box is equivalent to like a dog whistle for other creatures, other evil beings.
You don't have time, Boyd. There's darkness in the forest. Nightmares to get anything you can imagine.
So I think that Martin is saying that there's darkness in the forest, things you can't even imagine, because in the future, that's when a lot of stuff starts manifesting. So the reason why on the show, season 1, 2, and 3, we haven't really seen anything in the forest or seen anything evil is because they don't start making themselves available in this theory until the future where Martin exists.
You were never meant to see things that... You have to get out before the music stops.
Boyd can see, hear, and he's even going to hold the music box. This is before he got the worms. So I'm thinking that Boyd has, based off his biology, he's got the ability to see supernatural things like the cursed music box. And I think the music box is equivalent to like the Annabelle doll and the Conjuring series, or the monkey, that monkey movie that's out, the cursed monkey, and that the Annabelle doll and the cursed monkey, they're just objects, but they're objects that are possessed by something evil. So the music box is possessed by an evil entity. If you destroy the music box, that releases the evil entity, in my opinion, in this theory, and that's what Abby was alluding to. If you destroy the music box, you release the evil entity, and things are going to be worse. And I think that when the music box became destroyed, the evil entity went inside of Randall, and that's why Randall is seeing the cicadas. No one else can see the cicadas. The monster that was in the music box is slowly starting to possess and take over Randall, and they can do that when they break your will. So they'll show you stuff and have things attack you and affect you, kind of like that movie Smile, where the smile demon, when it gets in you after you see something traumatic, that it slowly starts to take you over by showing you things and having you question reality, having you go through trauma. And once it breaks you mentally, it breaks your will, and now it can control your body. That's what's going on with Randall season 3, and that the monster that was inside the music box is trying to break Randall mentally in order to control him and perhaps turn him into the man in the yellow suit. Who knows? But I definitely believe that the same way that the worms were trying to break Boyd mentally by having him experience stuff and see things, make him question reality and control him, that's what's going on with the monster that was inside the music box to Randall. And I think that's the reason why the creatures spared Randall and put him on top of the ambulance in season 3, because he's possessed. So yeah, Boyd can not only see the music box and hear it, but he can touch it. And this is before the worms. The worms had nothing to do with him being able to perceive the music box with his senses, the cursed object. Yeah, somebody probably put the evil entity inside the music box to confine it. And the evil entity now uses the music box music as a dog whistle. And that's the reason why Martin was like, we have to hurry before the music stops. Equivalent to like when you blow a dog whistle, that sends out the sound, the bass signal for other dogs to come to your position. This is where Boyd is put into a trance, and now the monster is slowly starting to control him, trying to have its will and influence on him. Right now, we see that Boyd, he's broken the right chain that Martin has. That's the reason why I say this might be in the future, because if this was in the past, then when Julie, Randall, and Marielle were in the lair, then Randall, who was in the middle, would have had one of his hands freed. But both of his hands were bound like everybody else. As a matter of fact, all of them were bound with different chains than we see the other skeletons bound with. But the main focus is that this chain is now broken, but when we see Julie, Randall, and Marielle chained to the wall, it's intact. So that's why I say that this more than likely is in the future when Martin is being freed.
Almost there.
You ever wonder if Abby was right?
Hey, what'd you say?
What if it's all just a dream?
In this theory, Martin knows this because, again, Martin's in the future. He heard the Kimono Woman, or maybe someone else, but in this theory, he heard the Kimono Woman tell him about Abby and Julie and everybody else, and that's what he's referring to in the future, talking to Boyd.
How the fuck do you... Hey, Martin, come on. It's a...
We're out of time! Let go, Martin! My blood is your blood now.
Boyd goes from the future to the present. It's a blink and you miss it moment. Okay, so Martin, he's on the ground now. He's on the ground. He's done.
Martin. The fuck?
All right, so the part where Martin was captive at is over here. Because remember, there was a line on the wall where Martin was. You can't see it anymore, so it's got to be Martin was right over here. And as you can see right here, this is a different chain than we saw before, and there's no skeleton. So no skeleton right here, no skeleton right here. And I think it's because in this blink and you miss a moment, Boyd is now transported back to the present. So the music box was in the future. Someone probably trapped a demon, a monster, a creature, or whatever in the music box, put it in the lair. In the future, Martin is trapped with the worms in the future. Other people who were skeletons were probably sacrificed, just like Martin more than likely was, and that music box more than likely was, and they were trapped in this lair in the future. And this kind of goes into the theory that I had that the only way you can really defeat the creatures that go into town at night is by trapping them. Because if you kill them, they can be brought back to life through birth or some other type of weird method. If you leave Fromville like Tabitha did, it can bring you back. So leaving Fromville is not a solution. Trying to unalive something is not a solution. You got to trap it. Trapping is the only way that you can get any type of win. So no skeleton on the wall. So Boyd went that way when he was clearing the room, and he goes out this entrance right here to the right. So Boyd is back out into the forest, and he has an object, which is the torch or an item. It's lit. And now he's able to return back outside the lair. So Elgin, He's having fun with the Polaroid that he and Julie found. He's hanging up Polaroid pictures, making memories. Okay, he holds up a picture of Fatima. And now the Kimono Woman is starting to appear in the picture.
Help me, Elgin. I can save you. I can save all of you. I can help you go back home.
You noticed how she grabbed Elgin, shocked him, started whispering sweet nothings in his ear. That's his eye. Started whispering sweet nothings. She addressed him by name. Let's do it one more time.
Help me, Elgin. I can save you. I can save all of you. I can help you go back home.
She went from being invisible to now she's able to be seen or visible. She touched Elgin, shook him, and addressed him by name. So in my opinion, that's how the creatures more than likely know everyone's name. That's how Martin knew about Abby, and that's how Martin knew Julie, because only one person in town named Abby who's connected to a Boyd, who's also a Marine. That's probably how the Kimono Woman described Abby to Martin and told Martin about what Abby was saying and what she did. And there's only one teen who's a female in town, so it's got to be Julie. I'm thinking that when Boyd and Julie met Martin, they were in the future. Right now, from that we're watching is the present. We're going to go and watch the scene with Julie story walking so you can see that she went from the future to, I believe, the past before going into the tunnels and then going into the chamber where I believe that the teddy bears were being sacrificed. This is her story walking. All right, Randall, Marielle, that's herself. So when they were in the lair, that is the past from when she first went in there. She originally went to the past before the lair was even used. Then she went a little bit forward into the lair, and she went forward in time to where they were all confined there. Now I believe that she's going to the future. So you see, she went from the past before anyone used the lair, in this theory. Then she went to when she was there, which is like, we'll just say season 2 past. And now she's back in pre-season 1 past. See, nobody there. Everything is on the wall. Nothing is broken. Now she's getting up. Now she's going to the future.
You'll have to climb. What?
Now she's in the future.
How do you know my name?
He needs the rope. Please.
Who is that?
Now in the shot, you don't see any skeletons on the wall. Maybe it's a production issue or a continuity issue, but I don't see any skeletons in the actual lair.
You have to hurry. He'll be back soon.
Okay?
down there.
You need to leave. It isn't safe here. Go!
And just that fast, a couple of steps forward, she went from the future and now she's in the past. Watch this. And the reason why I say she's in the past is because this is where Martin was. Boyd broke this right chain, freeing Martin before Boyd left, and then Martin disappeared. Which Martin disappeared because Martin's in the future. Boyd, in the previous thing that I showed you, or previous shot that I showed you, Boyd went back to the present. So now Julie is in the past before season 1. And we see that this is intact. And this is why I think that she's in the past. No skeletons, no anything. And now she's in the tunnels. So right now, Julie's in season 2, episode 1. So she was there in the episode. We just didn't see it from her point of view. That's why she can hear Tabitha talking to Victor. When Tabitha and Victor were navigating the tunnels, this is the time when Victor broke down, had a mental breakdown after seeing Jasper.
Oh, we're happy.
Underneath the town. This is where the monsters live. This is where they stay. Then I can get us out.
What? Mom?
So Julie calling to Tabitha, I think Tabitha heard that, and that's what made Tabitha start leading Victor into a particular tunnel, which helped them get out of the cave, season 2, episode 1. Now she's gone further into the past.
Mom? Mom?
So on Kue. So had they have not pulled Julie from within the ruins, she would have walked in on the teddy bears being sacrificed. She could have actually saved the children. Or maybe witnessed what happened to them. They pull her out. So there you have it. I think that the Kimono Woman is who told Martin about Abby and Julie. I think that Randall is now possessed with the monster that was in the cursed object, the music box, and that Martin was in the future when Boyd and Julie met him as far as story walking, and that's how Martin knew about the talisman stone being for the creatures, because he already knows everything that has happened and will happen as far as the main timeline. And just if that is true, in this theory, if that is true, it's reasonable to believe that if you leave Fromville, they'll bring you back in. You can't kill the creatures. Martin is confined. The music box was confined. In the original timeline, the heroes lost. But the game changer would be Julie story walking, Jim helping out Tabitha and Jade. Those two main things right there, unless everything that we see in the show gets us to Martin being confined and the heroes losing, even with story walking. Even with everything that we've seen, I don't know, it's not looking too good, but what do you think? Let me know in the comment section your thoughts. Thumbs up the video, share your social media, subscribe, click the notification bell. Thanks for watching. Go forth, do great things, and I'm out. Peace.